Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Uninformed Fan. The Uninformed Fan. Yes, that is true. Today is Friday. We're ready to break down all of the action. What a start to the fantasy football playoffs last night. If you saw that one coming, I have a couple questions for you, and I would also like the lottery numbers for tonight and tomorrow. With that being said, we got a lot to get into today. We got a lot of good games coming up. We love the NFL slate this weekend. That probably means a nice 0-5 going on this weekend.
Why would you even put that into the
Because that's just the way it is, baby. Every time that we love something, it goes oh. But
we're going 5-0.
That would be great. That would be great. I'd love to take down this fourth quarter.
The week that we went 0-5, we didn't really we were very not okay with what we were doing.
No, we didn't like yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we didn't really like a whole lot.
Yeah, it was like there was like it was a really bad week, but whatever. We digress.
You know, it's really crazy. It's really crazy though that we've had 2 negative weeks. 2. We've only had 2. We had the 0-5, which was just terrible, and then the only other one we had was 2-3. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think about that right there, and the fact that we're still sitting at 57%. But going into this, we do have a chance to get into this fourth quarter. We can win the fourth quarter. We can win the $100,000 bounty on that fourth quarter. Let's get into it. Let's dive in.
A little positivity, please.
How are we feeling today, Mr. Positive over there? I see we got the Christmas tree up. I see the elves have been relocated. They are wandering throughout the house today, apparently.
Actually, I don't know where they are.
Ooh,
I didn't know where they are. Never mind. I know where they are. Sorry, it was a long night last night. My wife had her holiday work party that we went to, which started. First of all, traffic Sand Lake area is crazy. It took me 45 minutes to get from my house to Ocean Prime.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock at night. It's crazy.
You're just going straight up Apopka Island too, right?
It told us to take I-4. Because Apopka Island, then to get into Ocean Prime, you have to I don't know.
Turn right on Sand Lake and go now. I still thought that would have been better than dealing with that Whole Foods Tricky Lake intersection. That thing's just a nightmare.
It's crazy. Anyway, but a beautiful dinner. She works for an amazing company. They're doing huge things, and just so proud of my wife. She's amazing in every sense of the way. And she went out, and there was a point last night where I turned to my wife and I go, babe, so this is as we're about to leave Ocean Prime, which a phenomenal dinner. Chilean sea bass was amazing. That peanut butter pie was ridiculous that we had. Everything was just spot on. But I turned to my wife and I go, I just want to get this straight. You've had 3 dirty martinis, 2 glasses of wine, and an espresso martini, correct? She goes, yes. I go, okay, perfect. I'm here to support you. We're having a great time. I just want to remind you that you are taking Oliver on a field trip to the Science Center tomorrow at 8:45 in the morning. And she goes, I got it. I'm like, okay. So we went over to American Social with her boss and a bunch of people, and we had a couple more Yinglings and Michelob Ultras, and then called it a night and came home. And God bless her soul, bro. She's sending me pictures right now from the Science Center. Happy as can be.
Really?
Man.
So up and at 'em and just
are built. She was up with the baby at 3 a.m. I mean, they are built different.
Wow.
So, God bless you.
Wow.
You, babe.
That was pretty crazy. Because I'd still be curled up in the fetal position under a couple blankets.
I'm moving a little bit slower today, but the wine was delicious.
If that's possible.
They had a Dow. It is possible.
And for those of you that don't know, it's not necessarily that Jeff moves slow. Jeff has his own pace. That's all. But he accomplishes everything that other people can accomplish that run around.
Right.
But at his own pace. It's quite an amazing scientific feat, to be honest with you.
It pisses people off a lot.
It does. I'd be behind the bar just getting my balls kicked in. I look out and here's Jeffrey strolling across the floor.
Dixie, baby. Whistling Dixie.
Hey, you got those drinks yet? And I would just look at him with the death stare. Like, bro, get the fuck out of my service window.
Yeah, I mean, because look, at the end of the day, I've always felt this. Like, no matter how busy I am, if I show you that I am shook or weeded or running around, I feel like that gives you a crack in the armor. And what do people love to do? They love to take a wedge and drive a wedge right into that crack. And That is an opening for them to be able to get things for free, complain about things, whatever it is. I want to make sure that there's nothing that you can complain about when you're with me having an experience in my restaurant.
It is quite an experience, that is for sure. Speaking of quite an experience, I just want to touch on this real quick. I was watching this podcast yesterday, and I know we kind of briefly talked about it. It was over on Kick. It was Trainwrecks TV. It's called the Scuff Podcast, and they had, I think it was like seven different people in there. And something that it was pretty crazy, dude. It was pretty crazy. There was Aiden. There was a guy named Mo. There was a couple political streamers that were on there. Trainwrecks was on there. XQC was on there. Phase Rage was on there. Drake stopped in there. He wasn't on there, but he popped in. But one of the biggest things that they were talking about is Twitch's new terms of service. Now, and I think we know where this is going, because it started with the hot tub streams, right? Where basically there's a whole section of Twitch that is basically softcore porn now at this point. So they're trying to figure out how to their line in the sand, or whatever you want to call it. Since they took such a hard stance on gambling, right, to get that off the platform because of the kids. So now they went through and they changed their terms of service as far as sexual representation in the art category. So what they did is they allowed sexual art to be crafted and displayed because it is an expression of art. So they're going through and they're like, yeah, I turned it on there. I click on this art thing and I'm watching this chick draw a huge horse cock. and then they're on there talking about how there's full-on sexual anime, like full-on sex anime going on there. And they were just going off on the fact that Twitch and how gambling was so hard for streamers, but yet they're going to allow this, and how the other streamers, the bigger streamers, basically females that were hard on the gambling aspect of it, were like, this is not good for kids. We need to get that on there, but have now become completely silent in regards to this. And of course, in this day and age of wokeness and everyone towing the line, they don't want to say anything because it's an expression, and sexuality should be accepted as we, cater to the craziness of people thinking that they're jackrabbits and humans dressing up as dogs being walked around on a leash. It's just, it's one of those things. What's up? What a time to get in here, buddy. What a time to get in here. And, and then Trainwreck, and this is one thing I wanted to have your opinion on, because I think that he was just completely off the wall. He was talking about MMA and UFC fighting, and how he hates UFC fighting and MMA because of the brain dead fans that if you collectively tested their IQ would be 85-90% below average, that all they're there for is to watch blood and guts, watch somebody get the shit beat out of them. They're not there for the art of fighting and how it puts us back into the gladiator days of the Colosseum, and how we will never progress as a society until we learn to not want to see this type of stuff. And I will tell you, the majority of these guys just pelagic pronouns absolutely filleted him. Yeah, and they're like, you are so soft. What are you talking about?
Pussy take, like, I'm sorry, but that is just terrible.
Dude, he's down a rabbit hole, man. Now he's done some great things, but he went down a rabbit hole about how, like, the future of society and everything. And, Nick said it perfectly. It's animalistic human nature. You are never going to get rid of that. And then the other guy, the political guy, I can't remember what his name is. I wish I could. He's like, so what do you want? A bunch of skinny-haired little pussies walking around and, hey, guys, sexuality, pronouns. Like, who's going to step up and defend you? And then they started getting into the guns and things of this nature. It was a whole thing. If you guys haven't checked it out, I would highly suggest going over to Kick, Trainwrecks TV, check out the podcast, the Scuff Podcast, episode 115. Show a little love for our boy Nick Merckx as well. It was just It was a crazy ass podcast, dude. To listen to, I think 8 different people, and all, of course, nobody agrees with anybody, right? So it was just it was pretty good, man. And it's something that I think that down the road, I would love to be able to get some people on here, not necessarily talk about political issues because there's enough outlets for that. But, controversial sports topics, getting some of these people in here that disagree with us. Because, obviously.
Well, a lot of people disagree with my sports.
Usually it's me. And that's what's great about our show is the fact that very rarely are we on the same page. And that is what makes this show work. That is what makes it go down. Shout out to everybody that continues to jump in. Plink, I hope you really, we're about to get into your defense as well. What a start there. But Jeffrey, go ahead and tie that up.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I see John in here and, shout out to him. I sent him a text last night. He got back to me this morning. Just a great human being. And, I wanted to wish him luck this week in fantasy. It sucks. Like, I wish I was playing Sean Munson. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I was playing somebody who I was like, this guy's a fucking...
It's the only thing that sucks about playing fantasy football with your friends is, you do have to kick your friend in the balls at a certain point.
And I'm getting kicked in the balls right now. So,
John, did you do the thing, by the way? Did you do that thing? And also, I did give away the tickets for Christmas Eve. If you still wanted New Year's Eve. I did give that. Shout out to Big Brothers Big Sisters Tampa Bay, utilizing my tickets to take some kids out to the game on Christmas Eve.
Also, John, if you want those tickets, make sure to sign up for Boys and Girls Club of Tampa Bay because they have them now. So you could probably try to find your way into that somehow, somewhere.
Boys and Girls Club.
Is that what you said?
No, Big Brothers Big Sister.
Big Brothers Big Sisters. So
yeah.
You could be a big brother, Jess could be a big sister, and
I already told him I would give him the tickets. But he's got some stuff going on behind the scenes, very hush hush type things. So he's waiting for those to plan out. But I did get rid of those, and I do need to get down there because I still have like $350 left in my crew cash.
What are you gonna buy?
I'll probably just get some like jerseys or something I can sell because.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody who will be on the team next year. So I wouldn't. That's going to be tough. Who do you go with?
I don't know. It would be some. Obviously Mike Evans would be the number one choice here. Even if he doesn't on the team, he's still going to be a legend in Tampa Bay to be able to resell his stuff. I'm looking forward to scrubbing once Kyle Trask is gone. Whenever that is, I look forward to scrubbing the Bucks from all of my life.
Heard. John, if you're off today too, we are looking to get out and play a little golf as well. So text me and let me know if you're off, and we can try to set something up for right around 1:30.
I don't know if I can use crew cash for just events in there, Jay, but I'll find out. I'll definitely find out. They hit me up also for playoff tickets.
Yeah.
The 3-game purchase, they wanted me to go ahead and lock it in case they, go for the wild card, the divisional, and the NFC Championship game.
Right. Make sure you secure those tickets now.
Yeah. Considering my tickets right now are selling for 85% under face value, I'll be sure to go ahead and lock those in, buddy. Yeah. The only hope could be is that if the playoff, does come here, and obviously they will host a playoff game if they win the division, is that it's Dallas or somebody that comes big so I can sell those tickets to them because they'll still pay for it. And you know what? Tampa Bay, and I hate to say this, you deserve every fucking bit of it. You really do as far as home field advantage because you locked people into tickets when they didn't want to be there because you got greedy during the Tom Brady era. If you wanted season tickets for the last season that he was there, you had to buy multiple years.
Almost like they're not running a business. They should just be doing charity.
If you can't fill your own seats with your own fans, then yeah, okay, so lock it in. Big whoop-de-doo. Then you're not going to give yourself a home field advantage anyway. So, I really don't feel bad for them when it comes to that. Real quick, a little NBA stuff here before we get into football. The Draymond Green situation has come down, and of course, the NBA is a confirmed listener of the Uninformed podcast. And listen to your boy's advice. Draymond Green is suspended indefinitely from the NBA. Absolutely great move by the NBA. I think that once it comes out a little bit further, you're going to see that there's going to be some anger management courses. There's going to be some things that has to happen in order for him to get back on the court. I will say this: if he was not a professional athlete, if he was in any other type of setting, not only would he be out of a job, he would probably be sued to high hell. So the fact that players, and I understand this is a game that is very intense. I understand it. I played sports, not necessarily at the highest level, but you know, your blood gets flowing. Even in golf, I remember in collegiate golf, my blood would get flowing. If I missed a shot, or if somebody I was playing a match play, you know, did something or said something or whatever, your blood gets boiling, but you have to be able to control your temper. And to my opinion, he has shown that he is not capable of that throughout his majority of his career. If it was any other scenario, he'd be out of the league, out of a job. Bottom line.
Draymond's a Hall of Famer?
I don't know. I think that the Hall of Fame type stuff and the arguments, I don't know. I mean, if we're going from a straight statistical point, I mean, he's got 4 rings, right? I mean,
yeah.
and
he was a key piece to that team. You know, defensively, all defensive first teams. I mean,
I would put him like in the Rodman of the Bulls.
The Dennis Rodman of the Bulls, for 100%. And he's a glue guy that they have to have on that team, and that they wouldn't have won without him. I think he's a Hall of Famer, man. And
I don't know. Are we talking about the team with Steph, KD? You're saying that you don't think that they could have won without Draymond with that team?
I don't think the teams before KD would have won.
I'm just talking about the KD team. Because obviously the earlier ones, yes, with just those 3, the Clay, Steph, Draymond. Obviously, I'll give you that one. But I don't know necessarily about the team that had KD on it. I think that they still could have won without that. But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch a whole lot of NBA. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am not an NBA savant. I'm learning a little bit through this fucking wild NBA fantasy team that we have, that I've never seen more injuries in my life off of a team. But I am learning.
Yeah, it's great. When the Magic have the Celtics tonight too, right? So I'm sure you and B will be cozied up on the couch catching that one, unless she works.
Well, you know, as you predicated earlier, my wife is an amazing woman, and you know, she takes the sacrifice to walk in to provide for this family while I pursue other ventures and things of that nature. So she will actually be at work.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I will be working as well. I will be live via Whatnot. If anybody wants to drop in, Thomas Memorabilia, we're going to try to blow out some helmets and some memorabilia here for this Christmas season. So please check us out on Whatnot. I will be live for the majority of the evening over there. But yeah, so God bless her heart, she'll be at work.
Cool. All right. I didn't know. I know she's a big Celtics fan. That's always a game to circle, and I think they owe us a little bit from what we did to them.
And we were there at that game. And you know what she said to me? You know what she said to me the other day? We were having a little bit of tiff, right? You know, as married couples do. And she brought up that game. And she goes, you know, we were supposed to go to dinner, but the dinner was like, she said it was 10-minute walking distance. It ended up being like 30 minutes away from the Amway Center. I'm like, I'm not going there. And so we stayed for the entire game. And she goes, you know what? We never stay for the entire game. We never stay for that, but we stayed for the entire game of that. And I felt like you did that just to rub it in on me. And I'm like, what? I go, yes, I wore blue because magic, whatever, you know, whatever, you know, exactly. My man crush, Mo Wagner, I have to represent. It wasn't like anything logoed. I had a blue polo, blue shoes on. But who was wearing the Jason Tatum Celtics jersey in Miami to support your team? We're talking about a regular season game here. She's like, I felt like you just stayed there to rub it in that the Celtics were getting blown out. And I just stood back. I go, you just don't even know me, do you? And then that went down a whole different spiral. But yeah, can you believe that? Can you believe she said that? Like, I rubbed it in. Now, I was cheering. I was cheering for Mo, baby.
You just wanted the high five at the end from Mo. That's all you wanted. That was your whole goal was, you know, you didn't, at that moment.
I just wanted to be loved.
You should have said, for a moment, I blocked out your feelings and I cared about Mo's more. And that was wrong of me. I should have cared about your feelings more than I cared about supporting.
No, I won't do that because, and I'll tell you why I won't do that. And I'll tell you why I won't do that because when we went to the Chicago Bears game in Tampa, right, she wore a Patriots jersey. Okay? She wasn't supporting my team. And we've done this numerous times where I've gone to like a Bulls game and she'll still try to wear her Celtics jersey. So, no, we're not doing that. Real quick here because we are getting off a little bit. Giannis last night absolutely throws a meltdown of a hissy fit.
2 nights ago, right?
I don't know. I just saw it today. Throws an absolute hissy fit, and that's what it would look like, a hissy fit. Because he couldn't get the ball after a record-scoring performance. My biggest question is with the Indiana Pacers as well. They had their reasons or whatever you want to call it for them to keep the ball. Is there not more than one ball in the arena?
There's 2.
Exactly. So one ball for the Bucks, one ball for the Pacers. How hard is that?
An actual ball. He got one of the balls, but he said this isn't the game ball. I want the game ball. And he said he knows because he's been playing basketball for so long. He's been a professional basketball player. He can feel the difference between a ball that's been used and a ball that is just new, that's off to the side that they're going to send off to the Hall of Fame or whatever it is if something happens. So he wants the real ball, and he's pissed. And they're pissed because the Pacers were down. This goes back to in-season tournament stuff. And if you follow Rob Perez on Twitter, I highly recommend it. He gives a 12-minute breakdown of all this stuff that happened. Basically, when the Pacers beat the Bucks in the semifinals of the tournament, right, the in-season tournament, you saw Tyrese Halliburton after he made like the dagger 3 go like this, right? Like basically making, because Damian Lillard has Dame time and he always touches whenever he's in the zone or whatever. So Halliburton took a shot at Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard after the game was like, I don't care. Like, maybe understand what's going on. Could you be more humble? Sure. But do I mind that he did it? Absolutely not. It's in the game. It is what it is. Let's talk shit. Let's have a good time and do it. I don't have a problem with it. Now, fast forward to what happened in this game. The Bucks are blowing them out. Now, the Pacers make a little bit of a run. I think Giannis had like 54 or something like that at the time. And there's like a little scuffle that goes on. Giannis gets hammered and thrown to the ground. His brother was about to run off the bench to fight. They all hold him back. And then after that, they take Giannis out of the game. Well, the Pacers cut the lead back to 10. And Giannis comes back into the game and scores 12 points in a row by basically just mauling these dudes and breakaway dunks, which every single one is a scream and a flex and in your face. Like,
and it's impossible to cover.
This was personal. Yes. Like they play a back-to-back coming up. It's like January 1st and 3rd, I think. They have 2 games in a row against each other as the next time they play. I don't know what Giannis's point total will be that night, but I would take the over on whatever it is because or maybe he gets into foul trouble early because I've never seen Giannis be like that before, and he was hot, man. And that he was. I do not want that dude mad at me. You know what I'm saying? And to the point where he ran into their locker room.
Yeah.
There was an incident in the locker room where he ran back there to try to get the ball. Now they say that they wanted the ball because their rookie scored his first point.
Regular season, I guess we could say that, right?
Correct. He did score in the final against the Lakers in the in-season tournament final. He did score his first points in the NBA, and it's a great story. He comes from the island somewhere, like super poverty, raised up, it's a great story. However, you're talking about a rookie scoring his first point, which isn't even his first point, as opposed to Giannis putting up, 64? You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and that's the MVP, one of the MVPs of the league. That's the guy. Like, there's a certain, you got to give homage back to Giannis. You know what I mean? You got to kind of, in my opinion, bend the knee.
But my biggest thing is there's 2 balls.
There is, but he wants the real ball because he.
But that's my question. So if there's 2 balls, use one for the first half, use one for the second half. Now they're both game used.
So since Giannis lost his dad, when he has huge games like this, he will take the game ball and he will write a message and he will send it to his mom. He notoriously does this. And here's the other weird thing: if you watch the video, like I said, go to Rob Perez on X after the show, not now. To the show, go to Rob Perez on X, and he gives the whole breakdown of it. And if you look at it, as soon as the ball goes up, the very last shot, the assistant head of security for the Bucks runs up and grabs the ball. and has the ball in his possession.
Okay.
So there's some.
How did he lose possession?
I'm
assuming the Pacers probably came up and said, "We want that for this," and he's like, "Oh, okay," not thinking, right? I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know. And then it turned into Halliburton and the coaches and their whole team, and it turned into a whole thing. So I don't know. We'll see. To get back to the Draymond thing, because we were talking about Draymond a little bit. I thought Steve Kerr had some very poignant words after the. He was interviewed yesterday, and they were talking about it, and he was like, "This is about the Draymond that continuously acts bad. He has to work on himself. This is about the Draymond who put Rudy Gobert in a headlock. This is about the Draymond that kicked Steven Adams. This is about all these incidents that have happened. Draymond needs to work on Draymond, and so the reason the suspension is indefinite is because until Draymond gets right." Like we said before, you have to protect your players on the court as much as you protect them off the court. If you're going to protect John Moran off the court from himself, you need to protect all your players that are on the court from Draymond and what he's doing right now. So,
absolutely. I mean, like I said, they're all confirmed listeners.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I thought it was a great thing that they did.
And then just real quick before we get into NFL here, the Dodgers signed Tyler Glasnow, or not? Well, they're going to sign him to an extension, which I think has already been out. But they traded for Tyler Glasnow here. I mean. We talked about this a little bit at the pre-show here. It's time for MLB owners to step up. What they're doing in LA is absolutely egregious. You cannot just do this to defer all this money to keep it off so you can be relevant for the next 10 years, and basically have no luxury tax, not have to pay anything out, not have to worry about anything, and just build this complete super team. It's absolutely egregious what's happening in LA right now. And the fact that MLB is letting it happen is even worse. It's even worse. And you know what? I just can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait for them to either A, not make the playoffs, B, lose the first round of the playoffs, or at minimum, just not win the World Series.
Oh, they're definitely the evil empire right now. It is funny to me because the Dodgers are like the anti-Braves, right? Do you remember people's argument about this is not fair? The Braves are taking advantage of Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies and Michael Harris and all
rookie contracts. Yeah,
who signed like they were fine contracts. They weren't crazy contracts like the Dodgers are throwing around, but they were fine contracts. But everybody complaining and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe the Braves are just out here taking advantage of these kids." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's absolutely crazy. The MLB owners have to step up. They have to step up. This cannot happen, man. This cannot happen. Cannot happen. When you look at this team, and then the fact that they're sitting here and they're going after Yamamoto as well. Yamamoto, I apologize. It's just, what are we doing?
Why would he not want to go play in LA, sell a bunch of jerseys, and also play with his teammate on the Japanese national team?
It's absolutely egregious. You know what? It's time for a salary cap in Major League Baseball. The fact that the Dodgers opening game standing room only tickets are $900 tells you everything that you need to know about it. LA, congratulations. You are going to now have the empty seats just like the Yankees did when they built their new stadium, and one of the lowest tickets on the lower end was $600-700. It was all bought up by corporates, and they sat empty, and that's exactly what's going to happen out there. I hope that no fans go. $900 for a standing room ticket for opening day. That's absolutely asinine. That's World Series prices. And I can't even take it. I cannot take it.
It'll be sold out. You're talking about one of the largest economies in the entire world in terms of California. It'll be sold out. People are going to want to go see Shohei's opening game.
I don't think so. It might sell out, but I guarantee you see empty seats. Because it'll be, again, corporate season tickets are going to be buying shit. It's whatever. I don't want to get off on that too much because we have a lot of good NFL action to get into. So let's get into it. Last night, Chargers 21, Raiders 63. What a start to fantasy football playoffs.
Yikes.
I checked the X this morning, and I looked at I looked at my insider text group message. I still have not seen that Brandon Staley is fired yet. I fully believe now that he will just ride out to the end of the year and then be fired. The Raiders absolutely beat down that Chargers defense. It wasn't even funny. Devontae Adams, 25 points on fantasy. Jacoby Myers, 17. Josh Palmer, 28. The Chargers defense, -4 Austin Eckler, 5.8 points. If you're on the Raiders side, you're absolutely just grubbing it up. And if you're on the Chargers side, you are probably screwed. The fact that Las Vegas defense put up 28 points, I mean, if you had the Raiders defense, you are just licking your chops. You are in the advantage. There's no way that you are not projected to win your fantasy playoffs right now unless you just have a complete garbage of a team. My biggest thing is, again, I put it on the group chat. Has a coach been fired in the middle of a game before? And of course, Paul came back and said, well, he doesn't have his offensive weapons. And I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about he is a defensive coordinator. He has been talked numerous times about how are you going to make changes? Your defense isn't working. People are scoring at you at a significantly higher rate. No, we're good. I call the right plays. My team just doesn't execute them. No, I believe in myself. I'm good. And this is what happens. Now, 63 points, there was a lot of chaos involved here. A lot of fumbles, a lot of stuff like that. But when it comes down to defense and a good defense, earlier in the game when it mattered, you could have held them to a field goal, which I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, I did turn this off. There was not one field goal in this game.
I don't believe so. It's funny to look at because even Easton Stick still puts up 257 and 3 tutties. I had a tough decision to make.
Well, of course, it's at the end of the game when they're down by 45 points. The Las Vegas defense is just playing soft at this point.
I mean, it was 42-0 at halftime, and then it went 56-7, and then they scored a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, I had a tough decision to make in our big league that we have. I'll just call it the big league. Where I decided to pick up and start Zamir White, who they said was going to get most of the work. He ends up getting most of the work, 17 carries, 69 yards. He averages 4 per touch, scores a touchdown, catches a couple balls. And I thought I was living high. I'm like, I had this decision to make between him and Deontay Johnson. I didn't know who to go with. And then I look over about halfway through the game, and I see that John has the Raiders defense. And I'm like, oh no. And every time I looked up, I felt like the Raiders defense was scoring a touchdown. It's just like
the rate that the Chargers fumbled this ball is something I don't think I've seen. Number 12, whoever the punt returner is, or the kick returner. I mean,
he had 4 fumbles.
He just had one that the guy just stood him up off the punt, and then he just ripped it right out of his hands. Like while they're both standing there. It was absolutely crazy.
2 defensive touchdowns.
Never apologize, John. Never.
Just
no,
incredible.
No mercy.
Yeah, put your foot on my throat. I think Jordan Love's gonna ball out this week too, bro. So.
5 fumbles. 5. I mean, that's just insane. So I mean, whatever you want to say, that I think we're all looking forward to the day when Brandon Staley is out. That team is way too talented on both sides of the football to be having a game where there is 84 combined points. Shout out to anybody that had the under, just like me. Shout out to anybody who had over 1.5 field goals, both kickers, like me. It was an absolute slaughter.
-3.
I did have the -3, but this is one thing that I really need to work on in my gambling strategies. Is I need to not put a full unit. I need to be able to weigh my units a little bit better. Because if I'm putting 1 unit on the Raiders -3, I probably don't need to put a full unit on props for kickers. So that is something that I will be looking forward to in my betting career as I continue to navigate the waters of the NFL in betting. So we'll get to that. Now, we have Saturday NFL games today, tomorrow. We have Sunday NFL games. So let's get into Saturday right now. I love a lot of games already. And as I said before, this is absolutely a disastrous for me because usually when I love something, it doesn't work out in my favor. First up, we have the Minnesota Vikings headed to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals are favored by 3 here. We saw an absolute amazing performance from Cincinnati on their last game. We saw an absolute dog turd of a performance from the Vikings on their last game. The Cincinnati Bengals are running so hot right now. The Minnesota Vikings now are looking to possibly change quarterback. Did I read that correctly? In the fact of they might be making a switch at quarterback?
Nick Mullins is going to get the start this week.
And is that just performance issues or is Downs hurt? Dobbs?
Performance issues.
Mm. I love it even more. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Do you need a
Just
break?
trying to figure out the tea time. I actually really like Nick Mullins in this game.
Josh Dobbs is now the third string quarterback.
Yeah, I like Nick Mullins. I think Nick Mullins can get the ball around. It looks like Justin Jefferson is going to play. Listen, I don't know. I don't really have a read on the spread. I believe it's still
3.
Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Cincinnati by 3. I think it'll be a good game. I could see some points being scored here. The weather, it looks like, is going to be 40 degrees and overcast. Doesn't really say anything about wind.
And this spread opened up Cincinnati minus a half a point and how it's been betted to 3. And again, this is something that we don't take at face value, but OddsShark has it as an absolute push. But you know what? Fuck OddsSharks because, well, we use it as a basis. That also talked myself out of the Denver Broncos last week, which was an absolute stellar. So, I just feel like it's two teams going in two different directions. I think the Cincinnati Bengals have something to play for. I think that they're trying. Oh, wow. Oh, my computer's about to crash. The Cincinnati Bengals have something to play for, say that they are more than Joe Burrow. Not that anybody's discrediting, obviously, what Joe Burrow brings to that team, but I think that team has a lot to prove. And the fact that you still have that wide receiver core. Yes, the Minnesota Vikings have Jordan Addison. They have Justin Jefferson. They have TJ Hawkinson. They have a 3-headed monster as well. But to your point, obviously, Nick Mullins coming in here. We'll see if he's able to navigate this on his first start. I mean, obviously he started other games, but this is still going to be a little shaky in my opinion.
I think it'll be fine. I think this will be a good game, actually. I think it'll be a close game. I can see some points getting scored here. I don't know.
So that's one that we're looking at Circa Picks. If we think it's going to be that close of a game, that might be something that we get off of. Simply for the fact of what?
I didn't know we ever got on it.
Oh, I loved Cincinnati from Wednesday. I said Cincinnati
really?
from Wednesday. Absolutely. I said Cincinnati in the pre-show as well. Next up, we have the Steelers.
I'm like halfway here right now.
Yeah, I understand that. It's wonderful. Steelers Colts. Steelers Colts minus 1.5. Mitchie Trubisky getting the start here. This is an absolute stay away game for me. Nothing
No
involved.
Jonathan Taylor again. So Zach Moss will get the start. He'll be getting some run.
It's good for us,
I guess.
Steelers have a pretty good run defense, though.
They're middle of the pack.
Yeah. After that, we got Broncos.
Hayward plays. Let me see that real quick.
So while he's looking that up, next up we have the Broncos-Lions. Broncos headed to Detroit in the Dome. Lions minus 4.5 here. This is something that we are definitely split on. I'm still high on the Broncos. The Broncos have been putting a lot of good things together over the past few weeks. I think that they definitely can cover this spread. I think it will be a very close game. It seems to me, as always, the Lions are feast or famine. The Bears have shown that the absolute playbook on how to beat this team. If you just follow the Bears playbook, I think that you're going to be perfectly fine here. Russell Wilson. I think at minimum they cover this spread here. I know that Jeffrey does like the Lions at 4.5 here, so this will probably be something that we stay away.
Yeah, I think the Lions win this game. I don't know about the 4.5, but I do think that they win. So for me, it's pretty borderline. But I feel like Goff back in a dome. I feel like they're going to be desperate and hungry. Denver coming off of, Denver's riding high. This is like the peak of Denver's value that you're going to get. So if I look at it in that regard, that's as high as you're going to have on Denver, and this is as low as you're going to have on Detroit, it would tell me to take Detroit.
It would. I would just think 4.5, right? The 4.5 means a touchdown. I mean, you have to win by 7 points.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 points, 6 points. At that point, you're holy point. How many times am I going to say point? You're pretty much at a touchdown favorite at 4.5. I mean, you're pretty much -6 at that point. So that's why I like it. I think that 4.5 is just. I mean, you're looking at what 24-17, 20. I mean, because if the Broncos put up 17 points, that means the Lions are at least at 22, 23. I don't know. We'll break that down a little bit and see if we can find some value in there. If not, obviously, we will continue to move on. Now, moving on to Sunday, we do have
Saturday games. But all I'm going to say is that I think, like, betting-wise, you will have some line movement that'll come back because people will, they're going to bet the early games. And those games are going to be really tough to bet. And so you're going to lose money on those early games, and you're going to see people start to hammer Denver closer to kickoff, which is going to push that line down. You might be able to get some good value on Detroit.
Correct. Yep. But I do like it at 4.5. We'll see where it ends up. Now, Sunday, both of our teams are playing. We have the Bears headed into Cleveland, which we have been talking about this for a while. Jeff loves the Bears. I said I love the Bears at 3.5. The line is actually at 3. However, Circa it is 3.5. I think to Jeff's point, this is going to be a game that if you wait to game time, you're going to be able to get 3.5 again. Because as Jeff said, after Saturday, with this game, I think that the money is going to come in on the Browns, and you should be able to get the Bears at 3.5. I do love the Bears at 3.5 here. Again, my biggest question is the Cleveland front line, following the Minnesota Vikings playbook and just rushing Justin Fields every single time that you can and making him get that ball out quick, which we know that is one of his weaknesses. If they follow that play, it's going to be a rough day. I think the under here might even be a better play if you have that available, obviously.
38.5.
Not in the Circa lineup. Plus, we got to look at a little bit of whether it is Ohio, it is Cleveland, and it is December. So we'll be definitely monitoring that. But early leans here, if you could get the Bears plus 3.5, I think that is definitely one that you could lock in.
Love the Bears. Love the Bears. Love the Bears here. You know, the Bears since like week 7 are a top 7 defense in the NFL.
Since they got all the people back, really.
Correct. And I just think that Sweat really changed that team and their entire dynamic. You see the linebackers running downhill more. They're stopping the run. Nobody is getting past them. I like what they got on the outside. I like Johnson. I like Jackson. I think that's a formidable secondary. Listen,
and when you're looking at all you really have to do is guard Amari Cooper, right?
Elijah Moore is there too, obviously, but I do think that in Njoku, you got to keep an eye on him. But I'll just leave Edmonds on him and let him cook. And I think there's going to be enough pressure on Flacco where he's going to be uncomfortable. I think the one thing the Jags didn't do enough of last week was bringing pressure in the right situations on Flacco. It seemed like he had some time to kind of sit back there and pick him apart.
But if you do watch the Bears defense, they do have trouble getting pressure. They really do. They have trouble getting pressure to the quarterback.
Yeah, but Sweat's top 5 in the league in terms of pressure rate since he came to the Bears. So, I mean,
correct. So if you double team him or chip him, who else is going to step up? And if you're an offensive coordinator, that's got to be your game plan. Just like when your game against DeMarcus Ware, Max Crosby, you got to double team those guys, right? And then that's my biggest thing is who is coming after that. Now, the rookie out of Florida guy, why can't I remember his name? Jervis. I think it's Jervis. I can't remember. Rookie out of Florida has been performing absolutely great. So he's been getting some pressure as well. But that's going to be my biggest thing is they're going to double team Sweat. They're going to chip him, or at least they should. That's going to be my biggest thing is who else is going to step up to be able to create that pressure on Flacco. Because as we know, the guy just came off of his couch. It's not like he's going to be scrambling for 100 yards here. You don't need to play a spy on him. It allows you to free up that linebacker a little bit more. If there's some creative defensive scheming here by Eberflus, you're absolutely right. Get the pressure on him. Secondary locks it down. Should be a good game. It should be a good game. It's definitely a must win for the Bears. They are back into playoff contention. If you saw Club Dub, which is what they turn to the clubhouse into every time they win the game, it's absolutely amazing. They put on the disco ball. They're all dancing, doing their thing. The energy is back in there. And I will say this: the team has rallied behind Eberflus. Whatever's happened at the podium and his inability to get his point across to the media is not happening in the locker room. He's getting his point across to the locker room, and these guys are wanting to play for him, and that's all you want out of a head coach. That's all you want. You got to be able to motivate your men. You got to be able to get them behind you, and this is a huge, huge, huge game for the Chicago Bears. If they win this game, they do have a chance. Their odds are going to go up from, I think, 14 to probably 15%. 4%, to 15%, which 15% is a big percentage when you talk about making the playoffs. So very, very big game. I think that they will be geeked up. Again, my biggest question here is Justin Fields being able to get the ball out fast and being able to avoid that pressure and not staying in the pocket too long and not trying to do too much with his feet. He got a little bit lucky last week in getting out of some of these situations when he should have been sacked for a loss. So that'll be a good, definite something to look at.
We're taking the Bears in Circa.
Plus 3.5.
Plus 3.5.
Correct. Absolutely.
Lock it up.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers are headed to my foes, the Green Bay Packers, and Jeffrey is all over his not home team. I still like the Bucs here plus 3.5. I think that the Packers are definite feast or famine. Jeff thinks that they're going to feast on this secondary. Is Christian Watson going to play? That's going to be one of my biggest concerns here. He is not playing, so I feel comfortable with the Bucs plus 3.5 here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's one of the reasons I had to pick up Zamir White and play him is because Christian Watson is not playing this week, and I have Jonathan Taylor who's hurt, and. I agree with you. I think Christian Watson is a big deal. I just think that Jordan Love's still going to be able to perform. Now, the big play. One thing that I saw last week, and I felt like Matt LaFleur just gets in his own way sometimes. They were moving the ball really well, and then all of a sudden he would run these weird in and rounds with Jaron Reed over and over again, and they would get -4 yards every single time, and it just killed the complete momentum of the drive. I don't know if you noticed that, like in the fourth quarter, like toward the end. I know you were watching the game very closely.
Oh, I was, baby.
The in and arounds, I felt like we're terrible. He ran one like on the goal line.
Well, I think it was because they had such good success early, right? But then, of course, the defense is going to pick it up on it.
Yeah, like anyway, so I thought that was a misstep by LaFleur, personally. I don't know what to make of this game. I think 3.5. I think it's a good number for Tampa at 3.5. I do, especially with the hook. If this game was 2.5, I wouldn't love it as much. But 3.5, I think that's a really, really good number for the Bucs, who are still trying to fight their way to the playoffs.
A couple stats here out of that Bears-Browns, and I apologize. I had the wrong screen up. Just Jay. The last time the Bears played the Browns, Fields was sacked 9 times. Myles Garrett has 4.5 sacks in that game. Sweat has 3.5 sacks in 5 games with the Bears, and the Bears now have 11 sacks since Sweat joined. Jervin Dexter Sr. is the one I was talking about. Both tackles are out for Browns. Dillon and Jones are both questionable, and Jalen Reed for the Packers is also questionable. That's going to be my biggest thing here is Baker Mayfield has played very, very good this year. And when I say very, very good, I'm just talking about mediocre. I'm not saying he's like playing above average, but he's not really playing below average. He is doing what he needs to do to be able to get wins, and he absolutely deserves a starting job. So with that being said, my question is who's stopping Mike Evans, who's stopping Chris Godwin, and who, obviously Palmer is questionable. I think he said, right? No, Palmer's not questionable. Jalen Reed and Palmer. So you have those 3 guys, plus you have Kate Otten. White coming out of the backfield. I don't trust the Green Bay Packers defense. I think that it could get into a shootout. I think it could get into a shootout, and I think that the Bucs have just as many weapons, if not more, to be able to outshoot the Packers. Obviously, I'm a Packer hater. I do like to look at things realistically. I think this is a very evenly matched teams. I think these are evenly matched teams. It just depends on which one's going to click at the highest level. I'm going to give it to the Buccaneers, who are playing for their playoff lives and are still winning the division. If they win this one, I think it's going to be a good one, and I think that they're going to feel really, really good going into the playoffs. And anytime that you can beat Green Bay at home, just like Tom Brady did in the playoffs, is an amazing feat. So go Bucs, go.
Well, go Bucs, go.
Go Bucs, go. Jets, Dolphins. Zach Wilson, AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Him and Tommy DeVito coming through big. Jets are getting 9.5 points.
No, it's 8.5 on Circa, I believe.
Oh, it's 8.5 on Circa. It's 9.5 on the score app. Wow, and it's 9.5 on OddsSharks. So, with that being said, 8.5. Now, this Jets team looked absolutely great last week. The Dolphins team looked absolutely terrible this last week. So what we have here is a failure to communicate. We both like the Jets here. Bottom line.
I do like the Jets. I think Hunt being out is going to be a big miss for them. Yeah, I don't know. Terran Armstead didn't play last week, right?
It is a Miami game.
Yeah, 75 and beautiful. Terran Armstead didn't play last week, and I don't know. I think like the offensive line means so much for Tua because he needs time. I do, yeah.
Is Tyreek Hill playing? Is going to be a big question mark here, right?
Yeah, I don't know if Tyreek's going to be playing either. He's definitely questionable. Achane's questionable. Mostert's questionable. Deshaun Elliott, Robert Hunt already out.
So I mean, to me, if you take Tyreek Hill out of that offense, it's completely different. Obviously, I mean that goes without saying. But when you take Tyreek Hill out of there, it completely just changes what the Miami Dolphins are trying to do. So if Tyreek Hill is out, love it. Love the Jets.
The only thing that worries me is that we're buying the Jets at their peak value, and
but
discounting the Dolphins at the bottom of their value.
You know what though? You're right. I am shitting on the Miami Dolphins.
we all just saw what happened against the Tennessee Titans, and recency bias is going to tell you one thing. And we all just saw what the Jets did and how great Zach Wilson looked, and they finally figured it out. And they're letting him throw the ball over the yard and blah blah blah. And this all sounds really good and great.
I'm not necessarily going for the hype of the Jets. I'm talking about I am shitting on the Miami Dolphins. I absolutely am. I think that they're absolute frauds. They haven't beat anybody over 500, and then they get absolutely filleted by Tennessee. You're absolutely right. I think that the Miami Dolphins have been exposed. I think to your point, you said it a few weeks back, and I can't remember which game you referenced, but you said just follow this game plan. That's how they shut down the Miami Dolphins. They just created a lot of pressure on Tua, and if he doesn't have the time to throw the ball, that offense is an absolute shambles. So I think I think the playbook's out 100%. And if that Jets defense, which we know that the Jets defense has one of the best defenses in the league at times, can get pressure on him, I love it. I absolutely love it. Love it. And Vic Fangio, I mean, one of the Bears legends, you know, that defense is just struggling. Absolutely struggling. When you put up that, let Will Levis burn you like that, I don't know, bro. I think
you can do a little round robin parlay here with a bunch of underdogs might be fun. I think there's a bunch of dogs that can bark this week.
Well, speaking of a dog, I think can bark. Let's get out to Arizona, where the 49ers are heading to Arizona. And that spread is 12.5 in Circa. And to me, that is absolutely egregious. I think to Jeff's point, what we're talking about selling high, buying low, the 49ers are probably at their peak again after all of the, I mean, we're talking about 12.5 points against Arizona here. Now I say this, and then they'll probably come out and be up 28-0 to start the game. But my goodness, I think Kyler Murray is the difference maker here, being able to get out of the pocket, getting those little baby scrambles going. I just like I said against the Texans, I think that that's going to be the difference here, and his ability to evade that pass rush. I like the Arizona Cardinals here, plus 12.5. I can't believe I'm saying it, but that's just a lot of points in the NFL, in my opinion.
No, I agree. It's a lot of points. Listen, Arizona's had a week to prepare for this. The only thing is that Arizona sucks.
They do suck.
Concerned. I could see this being 28-0 in the first quarter.
Could be. But then let me ask you this: if it's let's say it's 28-0 at halftime. I mean, how long do they keep playing the starters? Right? You saw Christian McCaffrey after that last game, blood, bruises all over the place. Like, that dude's sore.
If you look at the report too for the Niners, you're talking about, let's see, Dre Greenlaw, Elijah Mitchell, Aaron Banks, Javon Hargrave, Travarius Ward, all questionable to play in this game as well. So,
can we just rest Trent Williams a game?
Try to get healthy. I don't think Trent Williams is out, but
just resting.
That was a
healthy scratch.
That was a fun 3 weeks, and they didn't have Trent Williams, huh?
Yeah, healthy scratch. Well, those are some of the ones that we're looking at for our highlights here. Let's get into some pain games here. We got the Falcons headed to the Saints, and I don't know who put this out on the group chat, but tickets are going.
Giants, Saints, and Falcons, Panthers.
Oh wait, what am I? Oh, I put that on the wrong one. Where did I even put this? Did I not even put? Wow, I don't think I even put it on there. Who are they playing?
The Falcons are playing the Panthers.
Oh, why did I put Saints twice. Unbelievable, this guy. Tickets for this game.
48 cents, right?
45 cents a ticket. You got $1, you can go to this game. And that, my friends, is what the NFL should be all about. Letting the common man get, hell, I mean, the beggars can even get in at 45 cents. Of course, they don't have a phone and they don't have an app to be able to download their mobile ticket. But, I mean, for 45 cents a ticket, you can pretty much get in there and just have a good time, right? Cause some mayhem. Maybe eat some trash pretzels. Gonna be some leftover food floating around.
I feel like your processing fees are going to be more than the tickets on whatever website you use and app thing you use.
I think it's only 20%.
All right, I'm back locked in. I'm not playing golf. It's very unfortunate.
What happened?
Tee times fell through. Can't tee off till 2:30. Get to start at 5:30. I'm not getting in 18 holes. I'm good.
Go ahead.
Stay at home with my baby and play video games.
There you go. I'll be on a little Apex today.
I will not.
I'm just looking up this right here, this Falcons game.
So I will say this about the Falcons and Panthers. I actually love Carolina here +3. I just think Atlanta's a different team outdoors sometimes, and I just think that I think they're reeling a little bit after last week. Carolina, if you look at that game against the Saints, like every metric says that Carolina should have won that game, and they got fucking blown out. It's ridiculous. We were on the right side last week. Like they literally outgained them, outrushed them, everything. They just unfortunately turned the ball over in bad situations, which is what bad football teams do. But that being said, I do like the Carolina +3 here. This line has opened up at 3, I believe, and has not moved. So it is just rock solid right now. In fact, it opened up at -3, -110, and now you're looking at -3, -105. So money is coming in on Carolina to move the juice a little bit there, but it has just pretty much stayed true. 46 degrees. Looks like it's going to be a little cloudy. If you're looking at the injury report for the Falcons, missing a few pieces on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line. Obviously, Hayden Hurst as well, too, is not going to play. To me, this is a big thing. If Brian Burns plays, give me the Carolina Panthers.
So to your point, I didn't find any of the 45-cent tickets. I don't know, maybe those got bought up already, but I did have some serious $12 tickets available. Okay. So $12 tickets, 2 of them at $24. Your service fee is going to be $5.52. Your order processing fee, thank you, order processing fee is $2.95. And of course, your taxes are 78 cents for a grand total of $33.25. So as that goes... Yeah, so I mean, you're paying $9.25. So basically, do that in half. So that would be what, $4.75? You're paying $4.75 per $12 ticket, which is about what, 40%, 35%. It's just absolutely egregious. And I came across this as well at the Geico garage for the Magic. I bought a ticket for $20, and it ended up costing me $35. There was $15 in fees and taxes for a $20 fucking parking pass. Absolutely egregious. Absolutely egregious. I don't like the Panthers here. I don't like either one of these teams, to be perfectly honest with you.
We're not taking it in Circa. I'm just saying my personal view is that I like the Panthers. And I can't stop betting bad teams. It just is what it is.
I know. It's tough, isn't it? Because as you said, that's where you feel the value. New name coming for the Amway Center.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah, they did take down Amway. First, they took down the M, and it just said the Away Center. So they've been trying to brainstorm different ideas for the name of the building.
Well, who's writing the biggest check?
Just,
the uninformed fan arena?
In terms of the wizarding or whatever, the magic kingdom or, I don't know. They're something Eureka's Castle.
So they're not going to sell the rights to it anymore?
I don't believe so.
Wow.
I believe they're just trying to come up with a name for it.
That'll be a first.
They're just taking Amway down off of it.
We do have a couple other good names.
Of course, the people who own the Magic own Amway. So,
Oh, so they're just taking down their own name.
The DeVosses own Amway. So.
Yeah. Cowboys Bills.
Yeah, good one.
One of the better lineups here on it. Bills favored by 2.5 at home. Now this Cowboys team looks absolutely on fire, locked in.
Not at home though.
It is not at home. It is in Buffalo, and this could be one of those games where weather does come into play. This game this opened up at 1.5, moved to 2. I think this is going to be a good game. I really do. I think this could be a high-scoring game, regardless of the defense from the Cowboys. The Bills' defense is a little suspect. I think this is just going to be one of those good games to just sit back and watch. I'm looking forward to this game. 4 o'clock game, a little bit more of a primetime issue. I like it.
To me, the key here is that the Bills are going to be without A.J. Epinesa, who has been a defensive end linebacker hybrid for them and has been unbelievable this year. So more injuries to that defense. It's already hurt. Micah Hyde's going to miss the game as well, too. They're amazing safety. It's just a lot right now for them to be able to get through. So because of that,
with all that, give me the boys. I don't know. It's 2.5 on the score app. I got a 2 here.
2 points. I don't know. What do we have it on in Circa? Do you know?
We have it at a half. We get the half point. Dallas.
It's 2.5 in Circa.
2. No, just 2.
2 in Circa.
Let's see what it is on the Hard Rock.
2.5.
Oh, you know that. No, it's actually 2. It's actually 2. Hard Rock, let us buy half points.
Dogging Hard Rock over here.
Yeah.
You know,
Any other?
This is what we do. We complain about not having gambling all the time, and then we finally get gambling, and then we complain about the lines that they give us.
Well, I think it's absolutely egregious that we're locked into one platform. That to me is absolutely egregious.
It is not a free market here in the state of Florida.
Exactly. I mean that's egregious in my opinion.
Monopoly.
Hey, you can bet, but you know, we're gonna give you one outlet. That's it. Again, that's just government entities telling me what I can and can't do with my money. Don't like it.
I always laugh so hard too when I see the boost. Like they sent something out last night. It was
I play them all.
It was like, oh, Austin Eckler, second half touchdown. Will it happen? Yeah. I'm like, probably not. They're down by 42. You know, well, I doubt they're pounding the rock with Austin Eckler.
They got me on that George Pickens one in Pittsburgh as well. It was boosted from like anytime touchdown scores from like 230 to like 425, and it's like he's due. I'm like, fuck yeah, he's due. Yeah.
Mother.
And then I put like $100 or a unit on it, or whatever. They're like, I'm sorry, $50 is a maximum. I'm like, you son of a bitch. And then I lost. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You know, they hook you in there, man. They do hook you in there. Let's see what.
Hey, you know, Call of Duty has a free weekend this weekend.
Great, good for Call of Duty. Good for Call of Duty.
On.
I do not. I've said this numerous times. I have no problem with the game, but I'm not going to go into a battle royale where people and little guys and people in their mother's basements have been grinding and multiplayer throwing grenades to get 3 kills at once so they can get the special attachment that just melts me when I walk into their face. No, thank you. I will stick to Apex Legends and sprinkle in a little Fortnite every once in a while. It'd be nice if I had like some of the other streamers, you know, somebody from behind the scenes, you know, to level up all my guns for me. So Jeff, if you would like to sign into my account and level up all of my guns to where I'm on a level playing field with everyone, then absolutely, I'm jumping in. I'll be right there. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to level up my guns, I'm in there. But I'm not going through that shit to where I have to level up my guns in order to play a battle royale. It's not a fucking battle royale at that point. How about that? Call of Duty and Fortnite. Now, with all of their attachments, now I got to land at a boss's house. I got to clean up 2 or 3 teams, and then I have to go down and craft my scope and craft another magazine. Come on, man. Come on. Give me on Apex Legends where everything's on the ground. Yeah, any other games that you're looking at here?
Washington, LA. I have stacked this in my DK lineup already, but I'll probably be taking the over here as well, too. I think Sam Howell coming off of a bye. I do like their wide receivers against that secondary of the Rams. You saw what Baltimore just did to them last week in not great weather. Now you're going to get a dome at home. I do think Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua will eat this week as well too. I think Matt Stafford is a great start in dailies as well. So yeah, I'd be stacking this Washington Rams game if I can. And if I'm looking at it correctly, over under here is 48.5. So one of the higher totals. It has gone down from 50.5. The other one is going to be a big game for me. For my fantasy life is going to be this Baltimore and Jacksonville game on Sunday night, which I kind of hate to have, but it is what it is. To me, it's, you know, Baltimore favored by 3.5 going into Jacksonville. I don't know.
I don't like it.
I hope for points. I have Zay Flowers. I have Calvin Ridley. I have Trevor Lawrence. I need points. So
I'm with you on the Trevor Lawrence because obviously we have them together in the big league. We have Ingram as well. We got some favorable matchups and we have some not so favorable matchups. And one of the big ones that a little questionable is DJ Moore and his ankle. I mean, he is listed as questionable. He has limited practice. I think he will play, but I mean,
I don't like him on that surface though. I think it's like just Cleveland is just a sloppy mess sometimes, and it just gives way to re-aggravation of an injury. And I don't know if there's going to be a lot of throwing in that game either.
I think there's going to be a lot of slants, and I think there, a lot of Luke Getsy's screens. I swear to God, dude, if I watch this game and I see 3 screen passes in the same fucking series, I will lose my shit. And not that it matters to anybody, but I will lose my shit. I mean, he did it. Oh, yeah, dude, that's the only thing that worries me, man, is Luke Getsy. I don't know. And speaking of that, DJ Moore is trending.
Is Geno Smith playing this week? Do we know?
Yeah.
He is playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Limited practice on Thursday. Earlier Thursday. It's not for sure, but it's looking
Yeah.
as if
I
it'll be something I would look for after today.
so to me, and
I like
I
him
don't.
better than Trevor Lawrence, if that's what you're talking about.
No, it's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Philadelphia only being -4 in Seattle on Monday night, coming off getting absolutely wrecked by the Dallas Cowboys. I just feel like this is a good bounce back spot for Philly. I think they run the ball here. I think they dominate the line of scrimmage. Um, Breaking news:
Yeah,
Brandon Staley fired. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Thank God. Congratulations if you are a Chargers fan. It has been way too long. I'm glad that we were alive when it happened. I have hated Brandon Staley for a long time now. So the fact that it's finally come to fruition, I couldn't be happier.
bro. How is it trending already? And the GM also fired. Which to me, I mean, I guess if you hired him, that's on you. But I feel like the GM has put together a pretty decent team out there.
Clean
I mean,
house.
if you're gonna get let go because of your coach, I mean, if you stuck with them too long, I guess that is on you. But I think that they put together a pretty decent team out there. I mean, look at the defense. You got Bosa, you got Mack on the other offensive side. Keenan Allen obviously sticking around. You drafted Justin Herbert. I still think it's wild, right? If you go back to Justin Herbert, it's wild that if a doctor didn't puncture Tyrod Taylor's lung, we would have never seen Justin Herbert.
Well, we would have seen him. He would have got
Would
there.
we
He
have?
wouldn't got there. Yeah, he wouldn't have got there as quickly as he did. But
What
we
if he
would
didn't
seen
have good practices? What if Tyrod Taylor was winning?
Was Staley the coach when they drafted Justin Herbert?
I have no idea. Maybe a little 3-time.
Things that keep me up at night.
Three shows in a row. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you made the comment. If you had that on your bingo card of the uninformed fan today, to go along with
wait till Monday.
To go along with talking about MMA and the pussification of the entire world, you can go ahead and check that one off too.
Yeah. I mean, they're all there, right for the taking.
Right there.
Anything else you want to wrap it up with today, Jeffrey? I apologize that you're not going to get out there and play golf. You know,
that's okay, man. You know,
I said that we could definitely have canceled the show for you to be able to play golf today.
I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna snuggle with this little 5-month-old adorable baby that's downstairs. I'm gonna play some video games with some friends. I'm gonna sit back and probably order some Jersey Mike subs for the entire family.
Hey, there you go.
That's what I'm gonna do today. You know,
can't go wrong with a little Turkey Tom.
I'm gonna say this, and if you, I'm not trying
actually
to like
Turkey Tom is Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's. I like the Pepe from Jimmy John's, honestly. What I'll say is that on Uber Eats, a lot of times they have really good deals, and so Jersey Mike's has a buy one get one that they do, and so I'll literally order 3 subs, and it'll be like $35, and I'll get 6. Yeah. So, and if you want,
if you're on Uber One as well, you get no delivery charge.
I have no delivery charge as well, but also if you're not on Uber One, there's an option on there to go pick it up. So if you have a Jersey Mike's, it's close.
Yeah, but if you're going to do that, well, don't. I mean, but you can probably get that same deal if you order online from Jersey Mike's, right?
No, it's like exclusive Uber.
My biggest thing with those, if it's not a buy one get one, is Uber Eats prices are like 20% higher. So please, if you're going to actually order out from somewhere, don't use the actual website. Unless there's a deal like he's talking about. Use the actual website, because if you didn't know, just like Instacart, everything else, it is definitely marked up. Now, I will say the only thing one delivery service that isn't marked up is Whole Foods. And that's because Whole Foods' prices are already so freaking egregious that I don't think that they could mark it up anymore, because I did a little testing of that one day. I went there and I brought up the app and I was checking the prices, and they are the exact same price in the store. So that their prices are just that egregious. My biggest thing, if you're looking to save $1 on a little grocery shopping, Trader Joe's. Just came across this golden nugget. Absolutely amazing. Love it. Great pricing point. Shout out to the people over at Trader Joe's. If you guys want to put a little logo up here, shoot it in the DMs. We'll be happy to represent your company.
I was drinking this absolutely delicious blend last night from Dow. Dow, great company out of California. But
never heard of it.
Blend. They have a cab. We have a regular and a reserve that we have at the restaurant. But this blend that I was having last night was not high in tannin, super drinkable. Just it felt like a table wine. something you can just relax and enjoy with friends. So I was very impressed.
Did you see that one that I sent to you guys? That I said if you get your hands on it, definitely try it.
Was that the Franzia?
No, it was
Yellowtail.
Not. It was
No?
Franck Dussac. It was
Franck Dussac.
yeah,
A French asshole.
a nice Cabernet. They're aged in whiskey barrels.
Huh?
It was an amazing wine. Got it off of our Angel Wine, whatever that is. Beautiful. Anything else to wrap us up with today, Jeffrey?
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Brandon Staley fired. Let's go 5-0 this week. Come on, Circa, bounce
Let's
back.
get it. That's going to do it for us today at the Uninformed Fan. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy it. There is a little bit of college sprinkled in this weekend. Some of the California teams, I do believe UCLA is playing. I do USC is playing, but at the end of the day, who cares? A lot of the stars are already even playing, so it is what it is. Everybody,
Football is dead.
College football is dead. I will say that. And I'm not even talking about the Florida State. I'm talking about in general. It's dead. College football to me
They killed it.
It's in a state of no return. It really is. It's pathetic. So we'll see what happens next year. I will say this, I do have that one Florida State fan friend that is like just posts nonstop. Now I can understand you keep posting about, not getting in. I understand that. I understand your argument for that. But he's always the one that brings the Gators into it. Like the Gators had something because that's just it's the same thing. There's Gator fans that do the same shit.
No, I know.
They just troll. I got him pretty good. He posted the Florida Gators 2024 schedule with some of the laughing emojis, right? Like ha ha ha. I just posted back. I'm like, you know what? This is what a championship schedule looks like. Maybe you should take a look at one. Maybe you can get in next year.
Playing UC Miami at a conference.
Who?
You.
It's better than playing fucking Northern Alabama.
LSU and Georgia.
There's no way you're going to talk about the Florida's 24 schedule, right? And like say that that's a cupcake schedule.
I'm not saying it's a cupcake schedule. I'm saying you're out of conference that you scheduled are UCF and Miami, correct? Who do we schedule out of conference this year? LSU and Florida. Okay.
So we have Miami. Yep.
We were ready to sign off here.
UCF.
And now you see we were done.
Bro, listen to the schedule. You're telling me what more would you like to see out of this? I guess we could get rid of Samford, right? We have Samford. We have Miami, Samford, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, UCF, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. All I know is Billy Napier better figure something out, or he's fucking gone, because that schedule screams 3 wins. Tops.
Mississippi State.
I mean, obviously your wins are looking there. Samford, obviously. I'm talking about just straight wins here, like easy wins. Not I think we can beat Miami, Samford, Mississippi State. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, UCF put up.
You should be beating UCF.
You should be. Well, we should be beating a lot of these teams. So okay, so that's 3. Where's the other easy win?
You said Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we have Miami. That's going to be a game. Samford should be a win. Texas A&M is going to be a game. Mississippi State is going to be a game. Should win that one, though.
Ole Miss is overrated.
Ole Miss just came off a great season. We'll have to see what team they put on the field for next year. But all I'm trying to say is
this is like 2 good teams, and they've lost to both.
This is like a gauntlet of a schedule. I would love to see when next year comes out what the strength of schedule this one comes out at. But even so, college football to me is just I don't know. It's lost the nostalgia in my opinion. It really has. Ever since we paid the players, it's lost the nostalgia.
Ever since they basically said that the regular season doesn't matter.
Well, I don't even know about that. I mean, obviously, I understand exactly what you're coming from, and I think you have a valid point. I don't know, man. To me, it's
Kirk Herbstreit.
He melted down. Did you see Big Cat? Did you see Big Cat respond to him? He's like, "Hey, bro, I love you, but like, we need to talk about how to thread Twitter responses." And he goes, "I love you, big fella." He goes, "I don't know what I'm doing on here. I'm just trying to make a point." Big cat coming through. Hey, bro, we gotta work on your.
Like,
We gotta work on your
this
threads,
long on Twitter. It was crazy,
dude.
bro.
It was a freaking essay.
And it was so funny too. It was like because somebody commented there, like, "Oh, I love your dog. Your dog's amazing. I always love seeing pictures of him." Can you explain to me why you decided that Alabama and Texas should be ahead of Florida State? And you said this on November 18th, and then he just went into this tirade, bro. Like,
dude,
completely
he
unhinged.
is.
I'm like,
I would love to get a snippet of that dude's DMs and see what people are fucking saying to him, dude. He's just getting absolutely filleted.
Said something about he was like, dude, like he's like, how do you do this? You know, like how do you these people? And then he calls all the Florida State fans delusional and yada yada yada. And I'm just like, okay, fine.
What a world!
But I will tell you this: game day will be a lot of fun in Dublin next year for Florida State and Notre Dame to start the year on like August 29th. That's going to be fun because I think
they're going to Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah, we play in Dublin to start the year against Notre Dame next year.
That's cool.
And College Game Day's already announced that they're going to be there, and I just think it's too fresh. Like I understand that you're gonna
how many
but they are going. The Florida State fans are. He's correct. There's a lot of them that are not rational, and there will be some irrational.
With every fan base.
So it's like, I don't know.
How many Florida State fans do you think are going to travel to Ireland?
A ton. They've
really?
Been playing this. This game's been on the schedule for 5 years. So it's been like a destination thing for a lot of people who want to go over and experience Ireland and do the whole thing. It's going to be a lot.
Hey man, at the end of the day, regardless of what you think, I will say this about Kirk Herbstreit: just he's not letting up. He's sticking by his word.
No, he's doubling down.
And whether or not you agree with it or not, I respect the hell out of that, because too much time, these big personalities, anybody, as soon as they get pressed, right? They get pressed. They're like, well, okay, maybe. No, he stuck with it the entire time.
Yeah.
So Kirk, stick to your guns, regardless of if they're right or wrong in the public's eyes. Keep it going, bro. Keep doing your thing. Obviously, you are the face of college football, and pretty much whatever you say goes. I mean,
which is funny. Why is he the face of college football? Like, he was like a shitty quarterback.
Backup, right?
Ohio State. Yeah, he wasn't.
Well, Stephen A. Smith is what you consider the face of basically NBA and sports. He never played. Oh, dude. I mean, regardless of whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's basically, and he'll tell you every show. He'll tell you every show that they are the mecca of the sports talk world. And you know what? Kudos. I mean, they got the ratings. They got whatever they want. I mean, it is what it is. It all started with he did say something though the other day about how I guess his contract's coming up and about being paid or whatever. And I can't remember what he said, but I guess he was fired from ESPN at one point. So that came back up. Yeah. FSU is playing Georgia Tech in Dublin, not Notre Dame.
I thought we played. No, are you sure? I think we played Notre Dame.
This is the 3-time chiming in who is a Notre Dame fan as well.
I thought for sure we start the season with Notre Dame next year.
Imagine that, Georgia Tech. I mean, yeah, you're playing Notre Dame in South Bend.
Okay, so we do play Notre Dame, but just not. I thought we opened up with Notre Dame.
No, looks like a little cupcake to open up.
Just like LSU was for us this year.
I mean, you can't be expected to play top teams opening up every single year. I mean, why would you?
Well, the few years after that, we played Georgia and Alabama. So
yeah, college. I mean, now that it's a 12 team, I don't know. At least the playoffs are going to be interesting. I mean, at least we can say that. I mean,
I said this too. Like, people are like, "Why would you schedule Georgia and Alabama to start?" And I'm like, "Well, if you lose to one of them, and it's to start the year, by the end of the year,
yeah, you got to lose lose early. But even now, though, I think that you can lose late with the 12. You can lose late now.
The committee values quality losses over quality wins, so you got to at least get a loss in there somewhere.
You could lose to both of them and still be in the playoffs. 100%. You could have 3 losses now and still be in the playoffs.
If you were an SEC team, yes. But if you're any other conference,
well, I don't know. I mean, ACC could. I mean, if you lose three games to the SEC and those teams are all ranked ahead of you, I think you're talking about 12, bro. You just got to be in 12. I mean, look.
I don't think the committee will do that because then they'll say, well, they already got smoked with these 3 SEC teams that are ahead of them. Why do they deserve to be in when they can't beat anybody who's ahead of them?
Because the SEC is going to want a cupcake schedule. 3 through the playoffs. We'll see. That's going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Be sure to check out our Instagram on Saturday for Circa Picks, as well as Mortal Locks on Sunday. We are back. We're feeling good. We're looking for a 5-0 week. We're going to crush this fourth quarter and win the 100 Gs. While you're traveling for this holiday season, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane. Until then, we'll see you Monday.